was a hop, skip, and a jump. Hi, I'm John from Just Music. And check out my other channel, Just Whiskey without the E. So tonight, Just Music. Please give it a like, subscribe. We need more likes and subscribers to get into the YouTube algorithm. So anything you can do, push those buttons and let's get into the algorithm. Because right now, what happens with a young YouTube channel, it's very challenging. If somebody searches for just music, it's not going to come up. But if you subscribe, then you'll get all the content. So today we're going to be talking about The Who and their last tour. I've never heard that before. They're going to be playing August 26th at Fenway in Boston, Massachusetts. And this is going to be their last show. But before I talk about The Who's final tour, final shows, what I started last time, and I'm going to continue to do, is in this bucket are all my ticket stubs. All my ticket stubs, except for the, iPhone tickets. At some point, if memory gets me, then I'll write them down. But I'm just going to randomly pull out a concert ticket and see if I can recollect anything. Yeah, here it is. What a coincidence, right? This is Motley Crue, the final tour, which was, when the hell was this? This was August 24th, 2014 in Mansfield at the Xfinity Center. And how many times have they toured since then? I mean, they signed all this bullshit contract stuff saying, oh, we're never going to play again. They just won't give up, but they should. They were, Alice Cooper opened up for them, and Alice Cooper blew them off the stage. Alice Cooper is always the ultimate professional showman. I've seen Alice Cooper many times over the years. He never, ever fails to disappoint. He exceeds expectations, and you will have a good time with Alice Cooper. Motley Crue, that night I went with my friend Jim Chandler, and I was trying to be polite because I knew he was more of a fan than I was. And I said, oh yeah, they were pretty good. He's like, they sucked. And the sound wasn't good. There was no drum solo and completely overhyped. What a disappointment. So what I do is after I pull these tickets out, I put them into this box. And I've had this box since my first concert back in 1977, Peter Frampton. So any tickets I pull out of this bin will go into this box, so I won't repeat the same things. Now, all right, now back to The Who. So in 1980, and I was a senior in high school, I had a ticket. Me and a friend of mine had 2 tickets to The Who, the original Who, and with Keith Moon. And the 2 nights before this show in Cincinnati, there was a rush to the front of the stage, and 1 or 2 or some people got crushed to death and were killed at the concert. And so Buddy Cianci was the mayor at the time of Providence, Rhode Island, and Who was scheduled to play at the Providence Civic Center. And he canceled the concert because he didn't want any deaths on his watch. So I turned my ticket in for a full refund, and my friend Brad Kirby kept his ticket. He said he would think it would be a collector's item someday, and it probably is. But so I never got to see the original Who before Keith Moon died. fast forward to 1988. By this time, they were getting old in 1988, and Peter Townsend was publicly saying he did not even want to tour anymore, but Roger Daltrey put a lot of pressure onto him, and so they toured. And so I saw them at Sullivan Stadium, it was called, but now it's Gillette Stadium, the Foxborough Stadium. And they did have an opening act. I forget who that is. It's probably in one of these, written down in one of these ticket stubs. Yeah, they did have an opening act, and they were really good. They played the entire Tommy album from, which is a double album. They played the entire Tommy album in its entirety, plus their greatest hits. The concert was like 3.5 hours long. I had really good seats, and that was a great show. Now, fast forward to roughly around 2000, maybe 1999 to 2002-ish. The Who played at the Mansfield Great Woods, which is now called the Xfinity Center, and I should have done my homework. So obviously there was no Keith Moon. It was Zach Starkey on drums. I want to say it was John Entwistle on bass still, but I could be wrong. I should have done my homework. I think John Entwistle died after that, but I believe it was the 3 surviving members with Zach Starkey on drums, and they were really good. And then I also saw Roger Daltrey, I think in the 1990s, as a solo act at Great Woods, which is now called Xfinity Center in Mansfield, and he was really good. And I have always thought that Roger Daltrey was one of, if not the greatest, rock and roll singers of all time. So after that, roughly 2000, I never saw him again. I don't believe I did. I don't think so. And then they played in the Super Bowl. What was that? I don't know. 10 years ago, I don't remember, and even then, 10, 12 years ago, whenever the hell it was, Roger Daltrey's voice was cracking. He was losing his range, which is to be expected, right? As a rock and roll singer when you get old. And then even several years ago when the Who were playing, Roger Daltrey stopped the concert, pointing someone out in the audience for smoking pot, saying that he's allergic to it, and they need to put it out or have security take them out of there. And he was like such a drama queen. This was just going back like several years ago, fairly recently. And now him and Pete are in their 80s, early 80s, and Roger's becoming kind of like a whiny little bitch. I hate to say it, but and for him firing Zach Starkey, to be honest with you, I'm a huge Beatles fan. When I saw Zach play drums, I wasn't that impressed. People give him high praise. I think he's a competent drummer, but comparing anybody to Keith Moon is ridiculous. But I was never that impressed by his drumming and whatever I've seen on YouTube since. But for Roger Daltrey, at this stage in their career, when they're doing the final shows, they're in their 80s, to make a big stink about Zach Starkey making, too much noise through his ear monitor, it's just like, it sounds like an old lady, never mind an old man, like an old bitchy old lady. And Pete Townsend since 1988 is saying, "Oh, I'm tired of touring. I don't want to do this anymore." And he keeps doing it and doing it. And Pete is still good. I mean, he's still got it. I'm not going to go see them. It's a watered down. I mean, I can't even believe it's almost sold out. I can't even believe that people are latching on to this. It's not even a last hurrah. It's like a last breath before somebody dies, and they're saying that this is it. If you want to see him, they're never going to perform again. I just don't believe that either. The only caveat, the cool thing is on August 26th at Fenway, the Joe Perry Project is scheduled to open up for The Who. And they're touring solo, as a solo tour as well. And I really wanted to go. They were playing in Boston. It's right around this time. But it was a school night, in the middle of the week. And I at my age, I kind of avoid going to Boston. It's just kind of overwhelming with all the traffic and everything. Hotel rooms are out of control high, $500, $600, $700 for a night, if you're lucky to even find a room. Yeah. But Joe Perry Project, what's cool is you have on lead vocals Chris Robinson from the Black Crowes. You have Brad Whitford, the rhythm guitar player from Aerosmith, playing with Joe Perry. So it's a little bit of a Aerosmith tribute right there. And then you have the drummer and the bass player from Stone Temple Pilots. So that's a phenomenal lineup for a band. I would love to see them in a club, but I just don't want to go to Boston, and I'm not going to go see The Who, or what they're calling The Who. It's Roger Daltrey and Pete Townsend. They can call themselves whatever they want, but they're way, way, way past their prime. Mostly Roger, and Pete's just kind of doing his job, and I think he's doing it well. But Roger is just too much of a whiny little bitch for me. So, sorry to be so blunt, but who the hell am I, right? And who are you? So if you like today's show, thumbs up, like, subscribe. And if you're feeling generous, I have a PayPal link in the description below. And rock on, everybody. And next week, I'm seeing Train, and I'll give a concert review on Train at the Cape Cod Melody Tent. Bye-bye.